You can catch us all on Twitter.
And once again, we're coming live.
Those video guys on Twitter. And you can catch both Mitch and myself. I do tweet, and Jonathan on Twitter.
You know what? I will even attempt to tweet at least 5 times a day.
And we're coming live from the Electric House.
The Electric House, which is interestingly made out of wood.
No, it's made out of brick.
Oh, right.
Anyhow, we're going to move on to our next web series. And this one's called Ragged Isle. We've got a trailer for it. It's a new American show set. It's very much in the style of Twin Peaks.
It's got a lot of
Point
Twin Peaks in it.
Pleasant or Happy Town. Those type of shows.
Yep.
One of those sort of like, kind of like mystery in an American, what was that old American Peyton Place? Was kind of the one that started all those kind of shows. But anyway, it's a new internet show. We've got the trailer for it, and we're going to put on Ragged Isle trailer now.
The way things are going, we'd be lucky to survive the summer.
We haven't got much time.
Barrett, right? I thought your brother would have warned you about this place. I guess you'll find out for yourself.
These are dangerous times. We have 2 unsolved murders on our hands. Don't go anywhere on the island by yourself. And don't go out after dark.
So what does this all mean? What are we dealing with? A cult? A secret society? What?
I'm going to know. Do you want in?
I do.
Okay, that's Ragged Isle, the trailer for Ragged Isle, which is going to be a 20-part mystery.
In 2 seasons.
2 seasons, about a photojournalist on this island, and she's investigating a murder mystery.
She is. She's come to the island. She's sort of chosen this remote location as a better place to advance her career, and her brother lives there, of course, and finds it's a strange place. Interestingly, about islands, there's nowhere to go.
So what did you think of the show then, John?
Well, I've got 2 things that I want to say about that. One is that this show happens to be shot 5 miles from the house where I grew up.
Mm-hmm.
And I absolutely love looking at the scenery. In fact, one of the first shots...
It's very well shot, yeah.
One of the first shots you see is the young lady on one of the Casco Bay Lines ferries. Oh, I don't want to dispose of the mystery, but and Fort Gorges, an old World War II fort, was right in the background. And the other thing that I wanted to say that really makes this show stand out is the effort and time spent on establishing shots in this show. A lot of the internet shows that we've seen don't spend any time establishing shots, developing an environment, really letting you feel where you are. And that's what gives it its Twin Peaks feel. But you really do get a sense of the surrounding area, which is so critical to developing a feeling. And I wanted to just say, the cinematography, the time spent on those establishing shots, and some great camera work really...
I was actually quite blown away by some of the camera work, some of the panning shots and stuff like that. That's what we would expect in, the producers claimed to us it was on a low budget, bit made for like next to no money, but it doesn't in terms of the cinematography.
It doesn't
feel like that at all. It can stand head and shoulders against most TV shows
because it's the first thing that is continuously forgotten by some of these internet shows, is that establishing your environment,
giving a sense of place,
is critical to establishing a sense of place. What movie have you ever seen that didn't just pan across the skyline or give you a little drive-by through the city that it's set in? And these guys know exactly what they're doing, and there's, I've got to say, there's a lot of beautiful scenic stuff up there.
And there's about 8 episodes online at the moment. There's going to be 20. It's proving to be an interesting mystery, so I'm going to be sticking with it.
I'll be sticking with it as well. I'm also happy to say that it's using a lot of local casting. They've got a much more ambitious size of cast than any of the shows that I've been looking at. In fact, I think numbering around 30, and the cast is drawn from all across the state of Maine. So there are so many things about this that that just make it a great effort, a community effort, and they're really highlighting Maine, a lot of things that Maine have to offer, but they're not pointing at it very much.
Okay, so that gets a cheers from me.
I'll cheers that one.
And it also gets a cheers from Elazar as well, so that definitely gets 3 cheers from us.
To the vacation land.
So that's the Ragged Isle. Now, our next show that we're going to be looking at, this one's a sci-fi show, a sci-fi action show, and this one is called The Broken Toy.
The PD has been sidelined. We have eyes on target.
He drank the sedative.
So that's The Broken Toy. It's a sci-fi action series, very much in the vein of something like Universal Soldier.
Yep, along with some Bourne Ultimatum thrown in.
It's basically a military experiment gone wrong.
Yeah.
He's got some form of superpowers. And the first 3 episodes are very much an establishing long action sequence of his escape. And then it moves on to when he's dealing with, quite interestingly, he's got this made-up Frankenstein character who helps him along, who only appears in black and white. What did you think of it, Jonathan?
Well, I got to tell you, these guys have got some obvious technical capabilities at their disposal, and they're using them to
especially with
great effect. You know,
with them, you were saying about on Ragged Isle how it was their establishing shots. With these guys, what I felt was their lighting and their cinematography.
Lighting is great.
There was very, very atmospheric look to it.
And their ability to manipulate sort of a slow motion and fast motion at the same time in the same shot is very tricky. And they're really, they're finding ways. Interestingly, what I find most evocative about this show is not even the technical capability, because after a couple of episodes, you accept it as the norm and you're ready to move on. So, as a fundamental way of anchoring the show, works great. But what really starts to make it sing are the masks that the characters wear in the hallucination of the character. Why is this good? Because I'm always a fan of practical effects rather than digital effects. Practical effects will win out for me all the time.
And we were saying about the look of it, after the first 3 episodes, suddenly, once he escapes, they kind of like bring out a whole different set of tools. Because suddenly the whole look of the show changes, it's in the daytime, and as I said, he suddenly has this kind of like imaginary mentor figure who's all in black and white, because he's somebody he's seen in a black and white film. So there's a lot of very clever effects being used on that, and it's an interesting mystery. It's definitely something where, as I was watching it, I want to find out what's going on. What is it that's happening to him? What is this experiment that's being done on him? How's he going to deal with it? So, I felt that the action sequences were handled very, very well.
They were handled very well, and I think this show could really benefit from, like what every show could probably benefit from, is just a bit of expansion on how they're willing to tackle some real challenges of shooting when it comes to how many, what kind of cast they've got in the room. Obviously, they're doing some great work with CGI and effects, but also, it's like the thing about the Bitly sort of thing where... clip where you can almost tell when you're being hoodwinked on some stuff. And you're willing to go with it for a certain amount of time, but then you want to see some real sort of, interaction, trauma, emotion, all of these things also come into play. And those are a really critical thing to balance. But these guys have got such an amazing sort of aesthetic going with the fast motion, slow motion.
Yeah. So you're going to give it a cheers?
I'm going to give
or
it a
not?
cheers.
Yeah,
Great.
that's a cheers from me, and also Elazar has tweeted in his cheers as well. Now,
Excellent.
Just to remind you all, you can catch us on Twitter. Those video guys, we're on Twitter. Tweet us in your comments. We're in the message boards at the moment. You can let us know what you're thinking in the message
It's
boards.
totally bad luck not to drink after you do the classes.
I am going to drink.
I try to bring them along. We've known each other for a lot of years, and still look what I do.
Okay, moving on. We're also going to have a look at some interesting news going on and interesting development with how internet shows are going. The very first internet show has actually got a video game.
No kidding.
Yes, an internet show.
Oh, wait, I know what this is.
Have you ever seen?
Oh,
have you ever seen The Annoying Orange?
Jesus.
I take it you have seen the Annoying Orange. You either love him or you hate him. He's very Marmite. Me and Elazar love the guy. I take it.
Seriously? I want to claw my own eyeballs out and stuff them up my nose.
Well, because of the annoying. Well, he's got a game. He's got an. I believe it's on the iPhone and the iPad. So you're going to get that game.
Well, they'll let just about anybody except actual, money, poker, and porn. So.
Well, the annoying. I mean, it is interesting though that suddenly that's the exposure. Suddenly now a show on YouTube can get. That it can now get, and you also.
Well, if you can chuck an angry bird at a pig that's green, and make bajillion dollars.
I think
actually
a film of the Angry Birds.
Rio.
Yes.
I've got to say, my favorite thing about The Annoying Orange is that they branched out.
Yeah.
Look at just.
And I also thought I'd give a quick mention, because it's in the comic stores at the moment, the Guild.
Huh?
They actually now have Felicia Day has branched out, and you can get Guild comic books.
Oh, my goodness.
So there you have it. You've got
she's regressing. She's got to move forward. She needs an iPhone app. What I will also say, this is the challenge to The Annoying Orange
she's working on it.
Challenge, I want a theme park. An Annoying Orange theme park. What do you think? Will word get to him? This is the internet.
Do you think people would go to an Annoying Orange theme park?
I actually probably would.
Would you go to a Guild theme park?
I know Felicia, and I would...
We both know Felicia.
That's what I'm saying. I would never say no, but...
You met her at one of my conventions.
Yes, I did, actually.
So there you have it. The Annoying Orange has got himself an iPhone game. So you either love him or you
we're going
hate
to be
him.
fielding questions on the line for anybody who wants to post a question about
But
The Annoying Orange or anything
before that,
more
I also just
interesting
want to
talk
mention.
about.
Now you're living in the UK.
I am, sir.
Have you assimilated into one of the great aspects of 20th century UK culture,
Which is?
and now exploding into the 21st, Doctor Who?
Ah.
Have you been watching Doctor Who? He seems as bemused as any American about it. We're going to be launching our own Doctor Who
It's
show.
a cultural thing, okay? When you grow up,
Talking Who.
it's always shown by, between 11:30 and 12 in the morning, or 1 in the morning on national
PBS in the States, yes.
And God, my grandfather, he was a sculptor, and he sculpted exclusively nude pregnant women all his life. Well, mostly in the last 8 years of it. His girlfriend, a fine lady, was actually a bookbinder and Wicca, and she loved that Doctor Who. And I guess it's one of those things, it's all about how you encounter a certain thing that gives you its first impressions.
So as an actor, are you going to be trying out for Doctor Who?
I already have.
Oh.
Didn't work out. Sarah Jane Chronicles too. It's
Mark Sheppard is going to be a friend of ours.
God.
Mark Sheppard
Would you-
is going to be appearing on